There are concerns the cost of living crisis could be contributing to a rise in elder abuse. In Victoria, more than 1,300 people called a seniors helpline during the first quarter of the year. That's an increase of nearly 40%, and the majority of those calls relate to elder abuse. Across the country, it's estimated that around 1 in 6 Australians aged 65 and older have experienced being taken advantage of. Here's the head of Senior Rights Victoria, Chris Potaris, to tell us more. Hi there, Chris. This is a sharp increase. Hi there, in calls to your helpline, a rise of 39% in the first quarter of this year. What's your reaction to it?
Look, we're very concerned, Ros. I think the biggest issue that a lot of people fail to understand is that statistics such as that essentially represent a rise of about 400 people. So that's 400 extra older Victorians who've been subjected to some form of elder abuse as compared to this time last year, and that's quite significant.
Would you say these numbers, the issue though, is underreported?
It's not so much underreporting, Ros, it's more in relation to a lack of awareness and a lack of community education in relation to what elder abuse actually is. A lot of people don't actually realise they're suffering from elder abuse. And that's an issue that we need to tackle head on, not only at a state level, but certainly at a national level.
Okay, so what is elder abuse?
Elder abuse can take many forms. It could be psychological abuse, it could be financial abuse, it could be mistreatment, neglect. But predominantly, what we see, not only at a state level, but certainly at a national level, is financial abuse. And it's predominantly caused by or perpetrated by an older child or an adult child of the older person, which is very, very hard to deal with and very, very difficult situation for the older person.
So what's behind this sharp increase that you've seen, do you think? There are no excuses, of course, for elder abuse, but is cost of living pressures partly to blame?
Yeah, it certainly are, Ross. Cost of living and certainly the COVID pandemic. But certainly, you know, increased mortgages, increased cost of living, increased food. We're finding that a lot of older people are moving either back into their children's homes, and once that happens, we're tending to find that a lot of their bank accounts are really diminishing significantly, and they're essentially put either in a room or somewhere in isolation in their children's homes, or conversely, the children, the older children, the adult children, are moving back in with their parents, and essentially some form of abuse is instigated.
I understand the other challenge you're finding, Chris, is that people are having to wait for help because of the high demand. So how are they managing?
It's a really serious issue. I think that not only at a state level but nationally, I think Australians need to be aware that the increase that we've seen is quite significant, and you know, we unfortunately predict that we see, at the moment, we have a 5 to 6 week waiting or response time in relation to any calls we receive at our statewide helpline. We predict that probably only in the next 5 to 6 weeks, maybe 2 months, we're going to see possibly a doubling of the wait time and our ability for our advocates and our social workers to triage or receive those calls and determine whether there is in fact abuse being caused and how in fact we deal with that. Okay. So we're very concerned.
So you haven't got enough people? That's what you say?
Far from. Resources are a major issue at Seniors Rights Victoria, and there's also been some defunding of some other programs that deal with elder abuse in our state, and that's very concerning. So we see that our ability to respond at a resource and funding level is a serious issue that we are raising with the state government at the minute.
Okay. So when you can offer help, what help can you offer?
Look, the Seniors Rights Victoria is a very unique service in terms of we are a community legal centre, but we offer a very unique integrated model of care. So if someone has a concern, either the older person themselves or a family member or a trusted friend or a neighbour or a professional, they can call our helpline and we can triage those calls and try and provide immediate services, whether it be just support or referral or in fact legal casework.
Where else can people go for help? I guess the extreme will be to the police.
We would always encourage people who are suffering some form of serious abuse to contact police in the first instance. However, we will determine that through our triaging of the calls, and we will refer immediately if that's the case.
Chris Potaris, good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ros.
And if this story has raised any issues for you, you can get help by calling the National Sexual Assault and Family Violence Counselling Helpline on 1800 RESPECT, which is 1800 737 732.